Hey, happy campers, Todd here at Great American RV Superstores. Today we're going to kind of do a walk around our lot here in Hammond, Louisiana, and we're just going to do a comparison of all campers in general. We're going to look at some of the pros and cons of upgrading, some of the things that are similar in every unit, some of the things that are different. Maybe you're thinking about buying your first camper or buying your second or third camper, all right? So we're going to do some of that comparison here today to help you get on the right track. And from there, you come into one of our stores and talk to one of our amazing outfitters, and they're going to be able to take it from there. So let's get started. So buying your first, second, third, even fourth RV can be a little intimidating, trying to choose the right one for you. We have different trim packages. We have different options. What fits your needs the best, right? So there's a lot of opinions out there that you can go off of, but ultimately your opinion is the one that matters, right? You may not agree with me. The next person that watches this video may not agree with me, but we're going to give you some of our experience and knowledge, and hopefully you'll find it suitable to help you make that decision. We're going to start off with any one of these units and just look at some of the features, what's different, what's the same about them. So let's start off with the Grand Design Imagine 15BH. Let's take a look. So as you can see in our unit, we have bunkhouse here. You have your main bed, bunkhouse up top, air conditioning, refrigerator, microwave, TV, 2-burner stove, right? All the essentials that come in an RV. They're all gonna come with an AC. Might have a Dometic, might have a Coleman, might have a Furrion. But guess what? They're all gonna cool your unit. Now you're also going to have either a 2-burner, a 3-burner, or a 4-burner stove in there, a 110 microwave, and a refrigerator. Now all these conveniences are going to come in every RV. Now the things you need to think about is how big of a refrigerator do you need, right? They have some with much smaller refrigerators. They have some with residential size refrigerators. The other thing you need to consider when talking about refrigerators is once you move into the residential, your bigger ones, you're looking at 110 power versus 12 volt power. So if you're boondocking, you have 12 volt power that'll run off of your battery. Your 110 power, you'll need an inverter. And so that's going to pull off your 12 volts. Your batteries are going to last a lot less. So this is the information that I'm talking about. We can go down a wormhole of different ideas and ways to use our unit, but you need to find out how you're going to use it so you can decide from there. Most commonly, most of our units nowadays are coming with 12 volt refrigerators. So it makes it real convenient when you're boondocking and you're trying to conserve that energy without using a large residential refrigerator. So we can consider that. As far as stovetops, look, let's be honest, how often are you cooking inside your unit? Can you go with a smaller stovetop? Absolutely. Most people are cooking on their griddles and their pits and everything outside. So let's consider that when we're looking at a stovetop. It's only a 2-burner. I promise you, it's not going to make you upset later on that you only have a 2-burner stove. And a microwave, you're using it for leftovers, little small things. We need to worry more about how much counter space we have and cabinet space we have versus how big our microwave is. So in this unit here, it's a small 15-foot unit, but we have a lot of storage. We have a lot of cabinets in here. We have a pretty large sink to be able to wash those dishes, but let's also think about that. How many dishes are we going to have? Or are we going to have paper plates? Are we the paper plate and plastic fork type? Or are we the plastic plates and actual, half fine china, not throw away, wash it type? Okay, or are we the fine china type? That's going to decide how often you're going to wash dishes. All right, so remember, we're still in our 15-foot camper. This is probably one of the most compact bathrooms you're going to find until you get into Class B. And, once again, is it a deal breaker for you? You're taking a quick shower, you're jumping back out there, and you're going back to have fun and camping. You also have shower houses available with you at most of the sites you go to. So consider that too whenever you're looking at that kind of thing. If you want to stay in the confines of your trailer and only use your facilities, hey, that's you. That's fine. Then a bathroom is important to you. But just know that if you want a bigger bathroom and more space, you're going to lose that space out there. So here we are in a Heartland Prowler 265BHX. We've got about a 12-foot difference on length of this type unit. And we can see already we have more space. We have separate bunkhouses and a separate bedroom, so it gives you a little more privacy versus that 15-footer. Price point is fairly comparable on these two units. One's a lot more compact than the other, so that means parking's easier, but it also means that storage is tighter. In this unit, we can bring a whole lot more with us, but we can also see 2-burner stove, smaller microwave, 12-volt fridge, but it's a lot bigger than the one that we have in there. We also have conveniences, a little bigger booth right here for dining. We also have a sofa. So we can see that our things can expand with length, but we have a lot of the same appliances. We have an air conditioner. Once again, the microwave. Our bathroom space is a lot bigger. On this one, we have a tub versus a shower. So you got to consider those things too. Do you have a small kid that's not going to be able to take a shower? They need a tub. So that's something else that we have to consider, but we have more space. Another nice feature is, do you have kids in general? And if they're in and out for using the bathroom, you have a nice entry door over here. So there's a lot of conveniences that can make life easier, but at the same time, they have these same conveniences on different floor plans. So we looked at our travel trailers. Let's start looking at some fifth wheels and the major difference in space and conveniences that we have. So here we are in our Keystone Arcadia 294 SLRD, and we can see this is primarily a living room type unit. If you like hanging out in your unit and just relaxing, well, this is the unit for you. We have our recliner seats, we have our large sofa, we have large entertainment with soundbar, we even have an electric fireplace to keep us warm in this common area. Now, what do we still have? We still have the features of AC. Well, a lot longer unit. We're going to have two, one for our private bedroom area and one for our living room area, as well as our kitchen. Well, our kitchen also has the upgraded stove, and we have a microwave, pretty much the same size as the ones that we had before, and all those same features. So once again, no matter what level you're looking at, you're going to see a lot of the same features in each unit, but we're growing in space based upon our needs. Now, we looked at the bunkhouses and travel trailers. Of course, they have travel trailers with the large living space areas, which are primarily just a bedroom, a privacy bedroom. So that would be a couples type unit. So maybe you are just a husband and wife or couple, and you're traveling and no kids, no grandkids, no nothing, and this is the type of unit for you. Bunkhouses, that's the type of unit where you're going to bring your kids or grandkids with you, or maybe extra people, all in general. So we've talked about the different types of interiors we have, whether it be bunkhouses or living space and bedroom sizes. And we also have different units that have bathrooms all the way in the front that are huge, okay? It's all about what fits your needs and what you're enthusiastic about in your type of unit. Now, another thing that we'll see different in some units, technology. Technology isn't for everyone, okay? So if you're still an old school type camper or you're intimidated by touchscreens, well, guess what? There's still units available with the push buttons for your slide outs and your awnings and all of your lights. So speaking of technology, we also have some of the great features that we have at home now in a unit. We have tankless water heater systems. So that gives us endless hot water in our unit, and we don't have to worry about one person taking a shower, having to wait for that water to heat back up, and then wait for the next person to go in. So we have those small conveniences in a house that we can bring with us while we're out on the road. So also in our units, we have what's called our slide outs, right? If you're new to camping, a slide out is basically a portion of the room that's going to slide out of that existing stationary room. This creates more space in that area. A lot of times it's storage or couches or dinette booths, or maybe your whole kitchen slide moves out and provides more space around an island, giving you a ton more room to walk around and enjoy your unit. So do slide outs have cons? Well, yeah, you can have an issue with them, but they generally have overrides. And the overrides are getting a lot better nowadays than what they were back in the day as far as you being able to bring your slide out in. So it's not a deal breaker for you. It does add a lot more convenience, a lot more comfort, and a lot more room for your unit. So I highly suggest get a unit with a slide out. You're not going to regret the space. So maybe private living, bunkhouse space, all of these things encompassed, plus being able to bring our toys with us like dirt bikes or four-wheelers or golf carts. Maybe that is what we like to do. Well, we can do that in a toy hauler. Those fifth wheels bring that option. We also have travel trailer toy haulers too that have the same features, but it's not as private. Okay, so here we are in our Momentum. We can see we have the lavish kitchen. Now we're talking about, we have upgraded stovetop right here. We have a residential stovetop, a bigger microwave, a bigger refrigerator. So we're at a different trim level here. That's what you call it in the RV industry, is trim levels. Just like vehicles have different trim levels. With those higher trim levels, we're also going to have a higher price point, but we're also going to have some real upgraded conveniences in our unit. Are they going to work the same as the ones in the other units that we talked about? Absolutely. It's all about what conveniences make you happy. So generally with those higher trim levels, you're also going to have more technology. So you can see here we have touchscreen. That touchscreen is going to operate our lights, our slide outs, our air conditioner systems. We also have the convenience of a Bluetooth system that we can hook to our phone, and we can operate most of that stuff from there. Now, is that nice? Yeah, absolutely it's nice. While you're traveling down the road in South Louisiana, 100-degree weather, can you crank your generator up from your phone an hour before you get to the campsite and then turn your air conditioner on too? Absolutely you can. So these small things make life easier. That way you can have that convenience when you pull up to the campground, your unit is already cooled off and you're not suffering in the heat while you're trying to set up. But are you willing to pay for that feature? Or is that a main inconvenience for you? It's up to the customer. So just know that these features are out here, and maybe you haven't thought about what convenience can make your life better. So while this bed is pretty comfortable in this Momentum, is a mattress that you find in the perfect unit a deal breaker? Absolutely not. Any one of our parts stores can order an upgraded mattress to fit your needs. So don't let that stop you from buying the unit of your dreams. Another thing you're going to find in most of your higher trim level units is the option to be able to put a washer dryer maybe in that front closet or in the toy hauler area. Now, is this a must-have? Well, anybody that practically lives on the road in their unit, yeah, it'd be convenient. But one of the cons to that is combo units tend to use a lot of water, so you're going to make sure that wherever you go, you have a sewage system to be able to dump into whenever you do run that washing machine. So those are the small things that we also need to keep in mind. Those conveniences generally come with a cost. And most facilities that you go to, they're going to have a washroom. So a couple of quarters and some detergent versus having that washer dryer in your unit, well, there might be a payoff there to just using the wash facilities at the campground. So I always suggest to customers, give it a shot before you spend the money. That way you can find out if that convenience is necessary for you, or maybe that money can go to the next trim level that you're looking for. So as we can see in this toy hauler area, we have the option for the couches that we can bring down. That ramp turns into a patio that we can relax on while we're out camping. We also have a bunkhouse up here on top. So we have the added feature of being able to bring our toys with us, but we're also being able to utilize the room to separate the kids. We could throw the kids back here. The walls are insulated enough to where you're not really going to hear them up front, right? So you can throw them back here, let them have the time of their lives while you enjoy either the outside or the living room area. So we have these great conveniences that come with a toy hauler. Of course, a lot more length, and the thing we need to consider too is, do we have the tow vehicle to pull it? So we talked about our interior features. Let's start talking about our exterior features. Now, not every unit out there has a power jack, but 99.9% of them do. And if yours doesn't come with it, it's 3 bolts and a power wire. It's a pretty easy upgrade. Now, all of them are also going to have propane tank systems on there. Is the RV industry going away from propane? Yes, generally. But it's still needed. You're not going to find no propane on a unit until you move into your much higher level units like your motorhomes. Now on the side, we talked about our tankless water heater, that nice convenience of having the endless hot water. They're all going to have a gas furnace on there too to be able to heat it. Now you may have on the higher trim levels the option for electric heat pumps on that AC as well if you don't like the gas smell, but that's only going to knock out the chill and not truly heat your unit the way a furnace should or will. Now on our unit, they're all gonna have our storage tanks. You're gonna have gray water and black water on your unit. Now, a bigger unit with 2 bathrooms might have more tanks. Now, when you think about that, they're also probably gonna have more outlets, which means more hoses and more connections and more stuff to dump and more cleanup. Do you want that? Well, maybe you do, and maybe you're willing to put in the work, but just think about those things when you purchase that. Now we can also talk about stabilization on our units. Here we have the crank down jacks that are perfectly fine. Are they going to add a tremendous amount of stabilization to your unit? Well, no, not necessarily. On other units, we have our electric jacks. They are, once again, just stabilizers, and on travel trailers, they're not going to make a tremendous difference. Are there things you can add to your unit to help with that stabilization? Absolutely. But the only thing that's going to make a true difference is actual leveling jacks. Now, whether they be electric or hydraulic leveling jacks, which generally are going to come with fifth wheels, are going to make a huge difference about stability in your unit. So if kids jumping around and running through your unit while you're trying to sleep is going to bother you at night, you might want to start looking at that upgrade of actual leveling systems. Stabilizers aren't going to level your unit, so you actually have to level your unit with blocks and all these different things, so it's a lot more work. Then you crank down the stabilizers, and after all that work, you can still feel movement in your unit, whereas a push of a button from these leveling systems actually levels your unit and stabilizes it quite well. So we talked about our slide outs and the conveniences of having a slide topper. Well, this one doesn't have one. So if you go to a place where you have a lot of trees, pine cones, leaves, so on and so forth, and branches that can fall onto that roof, well, you have to climb up there and sweep it off. Otherwise, it can damage the wiper seals or the rubber whenever you go to slide that slide out in. So do you want the convenience of a slide topper to help prevent that? Yeah, it's a nice feature. Is it right for you? Well, that's for you to consider. Another thing to consider on your unit is 30 or 50 amp power service. Now, are you going to be using both ACs? Are you going to be plugging in a lot of griddles and crock pots and stuff like that? Well, you're going to want a 50 amp service. If you're very minimal on the amount of outdoor things that you use, like the electronic griddles and stuff, and you're going to use gas, well, then you could probably get by with a 30 amp service. But if you have dual ACs and you live in the South, you're probably going to want that 50 amps so you can run both ACs at one time. Now let's talk about structures on our unit. We may see aluminum siding like this, and we may also see fiberglass siding like this one on our Sonic Venture. Now, what's the big difference there? Well, of course, we have a nice, sleeker design. It's easier to wash. We can wax it, polish it, make it all look nice on a fiberglass. We can do some of the same things with that aluminum siding, but we also have a very different integrity to our designs here. So these are going to have a better insulation. We have vacuum bonded walls with styrofoam insulation in there versus fiberglass insulation on our aluminum side unit. We also have difference in construction. We'll have wood framing versus our aluminum framing in there. Are we going to have a little more stability in our aluminum framing versus our wood framing? Yeah, a little bit. Are you going to notice that while you're traveling down the road? No, not necessarily. The main things you're going to notice is a difference in insulation type. So when we're trying to cool this type of unit off in 100-degree weather, well, that fiberglass siding is going to insulate a little bit better. So let's talk about the difference of weight on our units. Now, you may have one unit that's much bigger than the other that actually weighs less. Well, that has to do with the construction on our unit. But once again, different framing, wood versus fiberglass. You may have different size tanks, different features on that unit that are going to add more weight. Our slide outs actually weigh more. We talked about that earlier. Less slide outs, less weight. Now, that's one thing that you definitely need to consider whenever you are preparing to go camping, that you have the proper tow truck to pull it. And if the truck is bigger, then that expands your options as far as what size of unit you can get. Now, with construction and weight, let's also talk about roofs. A walkable roof versus a non-walkable roof, well, the difference there is weight. But one thing we need to consider is maintenance on our roof. We have to get up here and maintain our sealants every 60 to 90 days. Is it easier and more convenient to have a ladder and a walkable roof to do that? Absolutely. Versus having a non-walkable roof that you have to get a ladder and reach out there over the roof line to be able to maintain that sealant to make sure that your unit doesn't have any leaks. Also on your rooftop, you're going to have your features like your air conditioner, solar panels, vents. All these things are up here that we need to monitor after we take trips and make sure we didn't have any damage. So once again, having that ladder and a walkable roof makes those things a lot more convenient. So all in all, we threw a lot of information at you, and you're going to find that one camper that sticks out to you, whether it be style, conveniences, or whatever suits your needs. That's completely up to the customer. It's your opinion. Speaking of opinions, everyone's going to have one. Everyone's going to have a different experience when it comes to camping in general because we have so many different needs. Well, share your experience down in the comments. Ask questions. That's the only way to find out what you need to know, right? More than happy to share my experiences and our knowledge here at Great American RV. We have a ton of outfitters that can provide that same information here at any one of our 11 locations. So once again, leave your comments. Let us know if you want more information on specific things that we can do a video on. Hey, let me know. I'm more than happy to do it. In the meantime, come check us out here at Great American RV Superstores, where we're making memories one weekend at a time.